I'm now just getting our bits of tyres and our wheels nicely sprayed up. I'm just getting off with a blade, right, these nice canopy masks that we have here, just peel it up that little bit, right, and a nice set of tweezers just to pull it the rest of the way. Now I'm just going to put this on our wheels just here. Now you may sort of notice that I've actually sprayed this already with our XF85. I've done the tyres first. I mean, sometimes it can work out better if you do that, right? I say this because sometimes the hubcaps can have quite a bit of detail in them, and when they've got quite a bit of detail, sometimes, right, it doesn't quite stick down as well. And with these tyres, these are quite sort of flat, so as you know, the actual masking tape has got something to stick down to, which just makes it a little bit better. I am being a little bit naughty as well because I haven't sealed this in with a gloss coat, so hopefully we won't make any scratches. And this isn't going down as nice as I'd like. It's actually sticking really well, and so it gets a couple of creases in it. So this might be a case of, you know, sort of on the back of your hand or something, just get this, you know, a little bit less tacky, right, because it's actually hindering me putting it on because it's so sticky. It's actually kind of, as I say, making some creases, right. So I'm just placing this down, trying to get it sort of spot on placing it. And then what I'm trying to do is, you know, not actually press it down until it looks good, right? And that's looking sort of pretty good now. Nice bit of 6mm Tamiya masking tape. I'll do the other side off camera, and what we're basically going to do here is just sort of wrap this around just to sort of make sure that all our overspray is nicely sorted. Here's one I prepared earlier. As you can see, done the same sort of thing. Any sort of little bits that maybe you didn't quite get, I'll get a little bit of masking tape on there. Just make sure it's all nicely masked up. Get our locking tweezers just here. I'm going to actually go off and be a little bit fancy with these. I'm going to use the Mr. Metal Colour Aluminium. Right, just because I just want to, as I say, just be a bit fancy. Again, with this, you know, I've already sort of shown you, but, you know, get that air pressure down to about the 15 psi mark, you know, nice and low. Give it a good shake. Make sure you've got all the sediment off of the bottom. Right, and then we're just going to pour this in. Shouldn't need a lot because this is only a little bit. Kitchen paper towel just to get up any sort of mess. Right, I'm just going to lightly spray this on. Right, let's get this going. Little nice sort of spray, nice and misty. Just, ooh, that's just popped out, but we'll switch it over. Nice and misty if we can. Oh, that's just, I think my airbrush needs. When that happens, when you're sort of like trying to get a little bit of a mistiness come out, and it just all of a sudden pops on like that. Basically, I think my nozzle just needs a nice bit of a clean. It's sort of getting a bit sort of dried up in there, the needle and the nozzle, and it's just kind of almost just turning it on like it is, just like that, which is not what really you want, but we can deal with it just for now. And I'll just clean that off camera. Right, so we've got that on. Leave that to dry, and we can sort of polish that up. Right, I'm going to actually leave the masking tape on as well while I polish it up, because I don't want it kind of smearing onto our XF85 colour. So I'll polish it up with the masking tape on, then remove the masking tape. A little bit of brush painting as well while we are here. You will have little bits like, you know, we've got some aluminium just to sort of paint just on here where our sort of like suspension area is on our landing gear. Little tiny little fiddly bits like that. I do recommend Citadel paints when it comes to brush painting. Right, these are more designed for like painting miniatures, you know, all that sort of weird fantasy stuff. but they are really good for like actual brush painting. I know a lot of the paints that we use in scale modeling, they are you know, more designed to go through an airbrush. I know they say you can paint it, but Citadel really good for brush painting. Now give this a good shake. You want to use water, right? Citadel really good. No need to go off and get fancy thinners or anything like that. Using water, I tend to kind of dip my brush on. You know, you could use a palette and go down that route, but I tend to just dip my brush into some water, and I'll just literally kind of mix it on the pot just here, like so. Right, get a sort of a nice 50-50 mix-ish. Right, you don't want it to be thick, so when you paint it down, you're seeing those brush strokes. Right, and these are little tiny little fiddly bits, so we've got to be sort of careful. And I'm just going to sort of paint this on. Right, you know, you should see that it doesn't have, you know, that 100% coverage. Right, because you want to be doing about 2 coats really, and I'm just slowly sort of working my way around, being quite careful, like so. Now I'll just sort of show you the advantage. I mean, you know, I know that takes a little bit of, you know, steady hand and stuff, but the advantage of, let's just grab our model here that has, by the way, you know, I've cleaned it, you know, I've sealed it in with a nice gloss coat using the Gauzy agent. Left it for a good 24 hours to dry, so this is all nice. I'll just sort of show you a nice advantage of doing all this sort of brush painting at basically this stage. Right, here is my model. It's all been nicely glossed. I could make a mistake like that on the model. I am not worried about it. So if you do have a bit of an unsteady hand, you know, making sure you've got these gloss coats, these protective gloss coats down, it does help in the sense that we can now go off, say, get a cotton wool bud. I know that this gloss coat is a nice smooth gloss coat, right? So maybe a little bit of water on a cotton wool bud, right? And we should be able to just wipe this up absolutely no problem. Right, so when it does come to brush painting, I do recommend, you know, doing it at this stage where it's all nice and glossy, because the gloss nice and smooth, stuff wipes off it. When you're actually brush painting, you know, when you make that mistake, it's going to be wet, so it's going to be easily wiped up. You know, and it just helps a lot, especially when we get around to painting these little MGs that are just here. That's going to be a little bit tricky painting them. You might get a little paint on the surfaces and whatnot, but as I've just shown you, quickly wipe it up and you should have no problems. No need to go off and respray and all this kind of nasty stuff. So I'm going to carry on with my brush painting, and I'll show you the wheels in a little bit.